So good evening friends, my name is Nitish Shukla and you are watching my channel Shore of Anatomy. We are with our next video for neuroanatomy. Today I will going to discuss about the cerebrum. Cerebrum is a vast topic, so it is difficult for me to cover it in one video. So we will go for different videos step by step. So today I am majorly going to discuss about the sulcus and gyrus and all the surface borders, lobes of cerebrum, the basic knowledge of cerebrum, and later we will discuss the details of all the different types of sulci and gyri. In this video, from this video, I tried it to make more animated, so you get it easier to understand more diagrammatically. So keep watching this video. It will be very helpful for you to understand the sulci and gyri of cerebrum. So let's start. We all know that cerebrum is the largest part of our brain. Here you can see the cerebrum, the bulged part. The cerebrum is nothing but the largest part of our brain, and it is divided into two cerebral hemispheres. Here you can see the two cerebral hemispheres. These two cerebral hemispheres are divided by a central medial longitudinal fissure. We have a medial longitudinal fissure present centrally, which is dividing our two cerebral hemispheres. Now, medial longitudinal fissure, we can see here the medial longitudinal fissure, so we can talk about its contents. What are the contents of medial longitudinal fissure? If you are looking to it, we will find a superior sagittal sinus. It is running along the medial longitudinal fissure. So let me try to visualize it. The venous system veins. So if we are looking to it, there is a superior sagittal, there is a superior sagittal sinus. This is our superior sagittal sinus running along the medial longitudinal fissure. So this is the content which is present at the upper part of the medial longitudinal fissure. Similarly, if we are tracing to a lower level, we are going to a lower level, we will find a inferior sagittal sinus. Here we have the inferior sagittal sinus. This is our inferior sagittal sinus. So if we are talking about the contents of the medial longitudinal fissure, then superiorly we have superior sagittal sinus and inferiorly we have inferior sagittal sinus. These are the two major contents. Similarly, we have also a thin film of gray matter known as inducium graecium. It is nothing but a thin film of gray matter surrounding the medial longitudinal fissure. So these are the contents of our these are the contents of medial longitudinal fissure. So let's continue with the cerebrum. Cerebrum is if we are going to talk about its surface, then it is like a plano-convex lens. We all studied it about in physics, ray optics. Plano-convex lens, it has a one planar surface and a one convex surface. So here you can exactly find the cerebrum as a plano-convex lens. The convex part is known as superior lateral surface. The convex part forms the superior lateral surface, and the planar part, the planar part forms what? This planar part forms our medial surface. So two major surfaces of cerebrum. The first one is superior lateral, which is convex in nature, and the medial surface, which is planar in nature. We also have an inferior surface. This surface extending from here to here, this is our inferior surface. So inferior surface has what? Inferior surface generally has a frontal lobe, orbital part of, this is anterior part, this is orbital part of frontal lobe. Inferior surface contains orbital part of frontal lobe and a tentorial part. Tentorial part consists of inferior surface of occipital and temporal lobe. This is our temporal lobe. So inferior surface of temporal lobe and inferior surface of occipital lobe. We will later talk how to identify the frontal, occipital and temporal lobes, but till now you just know that for the inferior surface it is divided into two parts, the orbital surface and the tentorial surface. Orbital surface contains the inferior surface of frontal lobe and the tentorial surface contains the inferior surface of occipital and the temporal lobes, temporal and the occipital lobes. So let's continue. Now the borders. What are the borders of the cerebrum? Cerebrum has generally four borders: the superior medial, inferior lateral, medial orbital and medial occipital. Superior medial separates the superior lateral surface to the medial surface. So here we have our medial surface. This you can see the medial surface. Similarly, you can find the uh, superior lateral surface. This is the superior lateral surface. So the superior medial border separates the superior lateral and the medial surface. So what is our superior medial border? You will say this as a superior medial border. This is our superior medial border, which is dividing our superior lateral surface to the medial surface. Alright, and next border we have the inferior lateral surface. What is inferior lateral surface? It separates the superior lateral from inferior surface. So this is our superior lateral surface, this is our superior lateral surface, and this is our inferior surface. So what is inferior lateral border? It separates the superior lateral from the inferior surface. Its anterior part is also known as superior ciliary border. In the skull we had seen the superior ciliary borders, so its anterior part is nothing but the superior ciliary border, and it extends to the occipital fold. It extends up to the occipital fold. So let me make it clear. Here some out here, okay, some out here we have our superior ciliary arches, and this is our occipital pole. So this is what our inferior border. What is inferior lateral border? Inferior lateral border is separating our superior lateral surface with the inferior surface. Alright, so we are done with two borders: the superior medial, which separates the superior lateral surface, which separates the uh, the superior medial border separates the superior lateral surface with the medial surface, and the inferior border, which separates the superior lateral surface with the inferior surface. Superior medial border and the inferior lateral border. Next border we have the medial orbital border. Medial orbital border separates the orbital part of inferior surface from the medial surface. Or so here you can find the orbital part of inferior surface. As I said that inferior surface has two parts, the orbital parts and the tentorial part. Orbital part consists of the frontal lobe, inferior surface of frontal lobe. So medial orbital separates the orbital part of separates the orbital part of inferior surface from the medial surface. What is medial surface? Sorry, I have to make it more clear. Orbital part of inferior surface with the medial surface. So this it is slightly below. I am actually this has to be removed. This part has to be removed. If we look the brain from the base, we will find there is a border known as medial orbital border, which is going to separate the frontal tentorial surface of the inferior surface to the medial surface. समझ रहे हो ना भाई? समझ लो इतना, ठीक है, उसको हटा नहीं पा रहा हूँ मैं. And at last we have the medial occipital border, which separates the tentorial part of inferior surface from the medial surface. This is the medial surface, and the inferior surface, its tentorial part, it is separated by the medial occipital border. So the cerebrum has three surfaces, four borders. What are the three surfaces? Let it make clear. What are the three surfaces? The superior lateral surface, the medial surface, the inferior surface. These are the three surfaces of cerebrum, and it has four borders: the superior medial border, the inferior lateral border. Sorry, what is inferior lateral border? It separates the superior lateral from inferior surface. So the inferior lateral border, this is our inferior lateral border, which is separating the inferior surface to the superior lateral surface. And similarly we have the medial orbital border and medial occipital border. उसको नहीं ड्रॉ करूँगा, दिखा चुका हूँ, ठीक है. Now continuing with the poles, cerebrum has three major poles. What are the three poles? The frontal pole. Frontal pole is it means it is at the front part. This is the frontal pole. The occipital pole, this is the occipital pole which is posteriorly present, and the temporal pole which is the anterior end of the temporal lobe. This is our temporal lobe and this is the anterior end of the temporal lobe. This is the temporal pole. So the frontal pole, the occipital pole posteriorly, and the temporal pole laterally. These are the three poles of cerebrum. So what we have to remember? We have to remember that cerebrum has three surfaces, four borders and three poles. The three surfaces are superior lateral surface, the medial surface and the inferior surface. And it has four borders: superior medial border, inferior lateral border, medial orbital, medial occipital, and it has three poles: frontal pole, occipital pole and the temporal pole. This much we are clear. Now the lobes. Lobes are actually defined with the help of the sulci present. The sulcus present within the cerebrum. What are the sulcus? Sulcus is nothing. Actually, I am going to make a separate video, not a separate video. In this video only, I am going to explain you the different types of sulci and gyri. What are sulci and gyri, and how we can classify them. These sulci and gyri actually divides the brain into different lobes. So to just memorize, you should learn that brain has four lobes. The first lobe is frontal lobe, which is present at the front. So this is the front part. This is the frontal lobe. You just look a rough look. Take a rough look. This is the frontal lobe, and similarly we have a parietal lobe. So this is the parietal part. This is the parietal lobe. Similarly we have a temporal lobe which is present laterally. This is our temporal lobe, and posteriorly we have the occipital lobe. So the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, the temporal lobe and the occipital lobe. You can make it out as a note. I am not writing it since I am not yet I do not have much developed gadgets. So just you can make notes. This is the frontal pole, this is the parietal lobe, this is the temporal lobe and this is the occipital lobe. We have four lobes in our cerebrum. So I'm continuing with the sulci and gyri, how they are formed and what they actually means, and how different sulcus and gyrus divides the cerebrum into different parts. So far we looked for the surfaces, borders and lobes of cerebrum. We have three surfaces. We have four major surfaces, we have four major borders, and we have three major lobes. Namely, surfaces are superior lateral, medial and inferior. Three surfaces. I said it four because there is one more surface known as insula. We will talk about it later, but up to now you just remember there are three major surfaces. They are superior lateral, medial and inferior surface. There are four borders: the superior medial, inferior lateral, and those two medial occipital, and there are four borders, and we have three lobes. What are the three lobes? Frontal, occipital and temporal lobes. Now we are heading towards the sulci and gyri. What are these two terms? Sulci and gyri. इसको समझना है ना. तो सल्काई का एक परफेक्ट डेफिनेशन होता है that a valley like depression. A valley like depression means a valley is going between the two mountains. So just imagine कि एक तरफ पहाड़ है, दूसरी तरफ पहाड़ है, and there is a river flowing between the mountains. So those पहाड़, those mountains are actually gyri. They are the gyri. They are eminences. They are protuberance. They are eminences. And between these two eminences, there is a valley like depression. This depression is sulci. If suppose these are the two eminences, this depression is sulci, a valley-like depression. All right. Now, to understand sulcus in a better way, we classify sulcus in 7 different parts. They are namely, very first one is primary sulcus. Primary sulcus. As the name suggests, it is primary. It means very first. Where it is very first, embryonically it develops for the first. It develops very first time. It means within the 7 months, the first sulcus to develop is the primary sulcus. It develops within the 7 months of embryonic life. Its example is central sulcus. Central sulcus. So it is the primary sulcus. Second, we have secondary sulcus. Secondary sulci. Secondary sulci differ from primary sulci by its position and number. It is not accurate. The position and number of secondary sulci is not accurate. Its position and number may vary. Its position and number may vary. Which is not seen in the primary sulcus. Primary sulcus, its position is same, its number is same, and it is always found at the same place. Secondary sulcus it vary, and secondary sulcus is like वो हमेशा कोशिश करता है कि प्राइमरी सल्कस का जो मेजर बेसिक फ्रेम है उसको बिगाड़ने का कोशिश करता है. सपोज वी हैव अ प्राइमरी सल्कस, सेंट्रल सल्कस. सो सेकेंडरी सल्कस व्हाट इट ट्राइज टू डू, it wants to make it wants to provide obstacles to primary sulcus. मगर प्राइमरी सल्कस भी ढीठ होता है, वो जैसा रहता है वो वैसा बने रहता है. ठीक है. Developmentally, secondary sulcus always try to provide obstacles for the primary sulcus, but it doesn't happen. If it happens, so then it is different. It is what we default structure, position and number. For secondary sulcus, we have examples mainly lateral and parieto-occipital sulcus. Parieto-occipital sulcus. You just remember the names of these sulcus. We will discuss about all these sulcus in detail in our animated video. For present, just remember the name. It will be very helpful for you because cerebrum is like you have to memorize things. You have to memorize things, and when you visualize those things, it will be very easier for you to memorize it. So primary sulcus, secondary sulcus, and then we have limiting sulcus. लिमिटिंग सर्कस. लिमिटिंग सर्कस कैसा है कि इसका एग्जांपल बता देता हूं. इसका एग्जांपल है सेंट्रल सर्कस. सेंट्रल सर्कस इज एग्जांपल ऑफ लिमिटिंग सर्कस. व्हाई लिमिटिंग सर्कस? सपोज देयर आर 2 माउंटेन्स और 2 ग्रूव्स. these are the grooves. So limiting sulcus, this is the central sulcus. This is the sulcus, central sulcus. This is the sulcus and these are the grooves. Limiting sulcus generally have 2 different areas of equal parts. Suppose it is a different area and this part is a different area. Both have different functions. Okay, both have different functions. They are different area. This sulcus runs when it runs, so it has 2 different area, anteriorly and posteriorly. It has some different function and it has some different function. In the case of central sulcus, we have anteriorly precentral groove, and posteriorly postcentral groove. This precentral groove actually responsible for the maintaining the sensory informations, and postcentral groove is responsible for maintaining the motor groove. It is explained in a better way in my animated video. Within few minutes it will up to you. So primary sulcus, secondary sulcus, limiting sulcus. The next we have axial sulcus. Axial sulcus is like इट हैज़ नो डिफरेंट फंक्शंस, मतलब इसमें ऐसा नहीं रहता कि डिवाइड कर दिए गए हैं फंक्शन के हिसाब से. एक्सियल सल्कस कंटिन्यू रहता है. मतलब अगर ये एक सल्कस है, suppose these are the mountains and then this is the valley, this is the sulcus. So all the regions of the groove have the same function, either sensory or motor. So this is the axial sulcus. The example of axial sulcus we will get, sorry I'm forgetting it. For example of axial sulcus, we have post-calcarine sulcus. Post-calcarine sulcus. Post-calcarine sulcus. Post-calcarine sulcus is the example of axial sulcus. So here are our four sulcus: primary sulcus, secondary sulcus, limiting sulcus, and axial sulcus. Next we have orbiculate sulcus. Operculated sulcus. Next we have operculated sulcus. The fifth one is operculated sulcus. इसको ऐसे समझा जा सकता है जैसे ये दो माउंटेन्स हो गए या फिर दो ग्रूव्स हो गए, बीच में सल्कस रन कर रहा है. operculated sulcus का एग्जांपल है ल्यूनेट सल्कस. ल्यूनेट सल्कस इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ operculated sulcus. So there is a valley like depression running known as ल्यूनेट सल्कस. operculated sulcus को ऐसा समझा जाएगा कि किसी भी सल्कस के ये दो लिप होते हैं, जहाँ पे टर्न होता है इसको लिप्स बोला जाता है. These are the lips and this is the wall. The remaining portion is the wall. These lips are different from this wall. This lip is different from the walls. So what are these lips? These lips are actually areas. वही मतलब है सेंसरी और मोटर कुछ ना कुछ फंक्शन होगा. तो ल्यूनेट सर्कस के अगर बोला जाए ल्यूनेट सर्कस के अकॉर्डिंग, सो दीज एरियाज आर वेरी फर्स्ट दे posteriorly it has not posteriorly, the medial or lateral, it has peristriate areas. So these areas are quite going to be difficult. It will be more clear when we are going to discuss the different areas of cerebrum, which is divided into different parts. So when we discuss about the areas of cerebrum, it will be very much clear about the ल्यूनेट sulcus. You just remember that operculated sulcus has two lips and one wall. All these two lips and one wall has different functions. This is the operculated sulcus. The example of operculated sulcus is ल्यूनेट sulcus. Now the next sulcus is interlobar sulci. As the name suggests, interlobar sulci. This sulci actually divides the different lobes of brain. This sulci is responsible for the formation of different lobes. For the formation of different lobes, we have studied the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe. So this sulci is responsible for the formation of lobe. The examples are central sulcus, lateral sulcus, and parieto-occipital sulcus. There is one more sulcus, I forgot about that, sorry. That is complete sulcus. Complete sulcus is such that it extends up to the ventricles. We have different ventricles. I will make separate video on the ventricles of brain. But but in our brain we have four ventricles: the two lateral ventricles, third ventricle, and the fourth ventricle. This complete sulcus goes so deep that it produces a bulging within the ventricles. जैसे एक sulcus होता है calcarine sulcus. There is a sulcus named calcarine sulcus. Calcarine sulcus goes deep to the fourth ventricle, goes deep to the lateral ventricle and produces a bulging. Lateral ventricles and produces a bulging. So complete sulcus goes up to the ventricles. So just remember the name examples. The complete sulcus का calcarine sulcus है, interlobal sulcus का central sulcus है, lateral sulcus है, parieto-occipital sulcus है, primary का central sulcus है, और secondary sulcus का example क्या है, lateral sulcus और parieto-occipital sulcus, axial sulcus के क्या example हैं, precalcarine sulcus, और limiting sulcus के क्या example हैं, limiting का आपको मिलेगा सेंट्रल सर्कस इज एग्जाम्पल ऑफ लिमिटिंग सर्कस, एंड देन ऑपरक्यूलेटेड सर्कस के एग्जाम्पल क्या है, तो ल्यूनेट सर्कस. You have to just remember these circles. We will discuss in detail. Discuss about these circles in detail later. Okay. So let's have a look on an animated video about the circles. So as I told you about all the different 7 types of sulci, the primary sulcus, secondary sulcus, limiting sulcus, axial sulcus, operculated sulcus, complete sulcus, and the interlobal sulcus. Interlobar sulcus I told you named so because it divides the different lobes of the brain. So let us look for the interlobar sulcus. Interlobar sulcus are of 3 types, major 3 types. They are the central sulcus, lateral sulcus, and the parieto-occipital sulcus. So let's look us in detail about the central sulcus. Central sulcus is example of interlobar as well as interlimiting sulcus. I told you about the interlimiting sulcus, its properties. So central sulcus is a type of limiting sulcus. Why it is a type of limiting sulcus? Because it has a separate motor area and the sensory area. So as I told you about all the different 7 types of sulci, the primary sulcus, secondary sulcus, limiting sulcus, axial sulcus, operculated sulcus, complete sulcus, and the interlobal sulcus. Interlobar sulcus I told you named so because it divides the different lobes of the brain. So let us look for the interlobar sulcus. Interlobar sulcus are of 3 types, major 3 types. They are the central sulcus, lateral sulcus, and the parieto-occipital sulcus. So let's look us in detail about the central sulcus. Central sulcus is example of interlobar as well as interlimiting sulcus. I told you about the interlimiting sulcus, its properties. So central sulcus is a type of limiting sulcus. Why it is a type of limiting sulcus? Because it has a separate motor area and the sensory area. So central sulcus is example of limiting sulcus. Why we are saying so? Because it is separating the motor area with the sensory area. It means it is separating the precentral gyrus and the postcentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus generally precentral gyrus defines the motor area and the postcentral gyrus defines the sensory area. As I told you that gyrus are generally mountains and the sulcus are the valley-like depressions. So the gyrus are mountains. The gyrus pre to central sulcus is precentral gyrus, and it post to central sulcus it is post central gyrus. So let us look for our central sulcus. Central sulcus arises from the superior medial margin. The first thing to identify for the central sulcus is to remember that it is a primary sulcus. It is a primary sulcus. It means that it is exact at its location and exact at its number. It is 1 in number and its position is exact. So what we have to look for its position is it is starting at the superior medial border. This is the superior medial border of the brain. So it means central sulcus is starting from the superior medial border of the brain. Now there are many sulcuses which are starting from the superior medial border, like this one, and then we have this one, we have this one, we have this one, we have this one. So there are various. So how do we identify that the sulcus is the central sulcus? Actually, central sulcus is complete. It arises from the superior medial border and ends to the lateral sulcus. So is there any sulcus which is starting from the superior medial border and ending at the lateral sulcus here? If you can find, I am giving you the time. Now let's see. So here is a sulcus. It is starting right from the superior medial border, going down, 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 and meeting at the lateral sulcus. This is our lateral sulcus. We will study it in detail. So this is the central sulcus. This is the belly-like depression, central sulcus, which is starting from the superior medial border and ending at the lateral sulcus. Therefore, we are saying it is a central sulcus, example of primary sulcus, example of interlobar sulcus, and example of limiting sulcus. Primary sulcus is defined by its development, that it develops within the 7 months, and interlobar sulcus defines that it is dividing the two lobes, the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe, that it is dividing the two lobes. So interlobar sulcus. Why limiting sulcus? The property of limiting sulcus is this, that it contains two areas. This sulcus has one motor area and the sensory area. Now we can see that this is the valley-like depression. This is the valley-like depression. It has two mountains surrounding it. Two mountains. The anterior mountain is known as the precentral gyrus. It is pre to this sulcus, therefore precentral gyrus. And इसके पीछे क्या आएगा? Post central gyrus. Those two mountains are precentral gyrus. This precentral gyrus is sensory in nature. It carries the whatever it does the sensory function, and the post central gyrus, it performs the motor functions. Therefore, central sulcus is example of what? Limiting sulcus. So this is our central sulcus. All right. Now the next one more thing I want to tell you, that it is around 10 centimeter in length, starting from the superior medial border ending at the lateral border. It is about 10 centimeter in length, the central sulcus. So here we end with the central sulcus. Now the lateral sulcus, where we will find the lateral sulcus. We all know that lateral sulcus name signifies that it is present laterally. कहीं lateral में present है, ये हम लोग को इतना मालूम है. सेंट्रल sulcus सेंटर में present था, ये भी नाम से खाली एक रफ आइडिया मिल रहा है अपने को. So what is lateral sulcus? Lateral sulcus is actually arising from the inferior surface. Okay, lateral sulcus is arising from the inferior surface. This is our inferior surface, है ना. This is ये हमारा inferior surface है. From where the inferior surface is, I told you that it has two parts. The front part is known as what? This is the orbital part and this is the tentorial part. So orbital part is at the front. Okay, now it is arising from the orbital part of inferior surface. It means it is arising from here. Look, it is arising from here. Then it goes to the parietal lobe. It goes to the parietal part. Here it travels like this. So parietal, this lateral sulcus is generally divided into two parts. It has a stem and it has three rami. It means it is like a tree. It has a stem and it has three branches. So the stem arises from the inferior surface. This part is stem. This part is stem, and then it gives the three rami. What are the three rami? The three rami are anterior horizontal rami. This is the anterior horizontal rami. This is the anterior horizontal rami. Sorry, I can draw it like this. This is our lateral sulcus. This is the stem. This is the this one is the what? Anterior horizontal rami, anterior horizontal rami, and then we have this major rami as ascending rami. You can make out the notes. This is the ascending rami, and most posterior we have not this. This is small one. Sorry. This small one is the posterior rami. So the posterior rami, the anterior horizontal rami, and it has one more rami, the ascending rami. Okay, the anterior rami, ascending rami, and the posterior rami. Lateral sulcus arising from the inferior surface of the cerebrum. It has a stem and it has three rami. the three major rami are anterior rami and the ascending rami and the posterior rami. And if we go for a more accurate position of the lateral sulcus, we can say that it is if we look for the stem of the lateral sulcus, look, this is the stem of the lateral sulcus, this is the stem of the lateral sulcus. What are the contents of stem of the lateral sulcus? It has the optic chiasma. This is our optic chiasma present medially. So lateral sulcus arising as a stem, it has optic chiasma as its content medially. Okay, and among all these three rami, the posterior rami is important. This posterior rami is important. So it is necessary to know its exact location. If we look for its exact location, it has laterally as the posterior surface of sphenoid bone as its content. What I mean to say is, if we search for sphenoid bone, this is our sphenoid bone. Okay, so the sphenoid bone, it is this ये क्या है, greater wing है. This is the greater wing of sphenoid. Okay, and this is the lesser wing of sphenoid. This is the lesser wing of sphenoid. तो ये क्या है, ये अपना है posterior ramus. तो posterior ramus के laterally क्या है, posterior ramus के laterally है sphenoid bone. ये sphenoid bone इसके laterally है posterior ramus के. ये एक location हो गया. One more location is that we have pterion around here. Pterion is nothing but the junction of four bones. What are those four bones? Sphenoid bones here, then frontal bone here, then parietal bone here, and temporal bone here. These four bones join in a H-shaped manner and forms the pterion at something this point. So from the pterion, this posterior ramus is 7 centimeter. The distance is 7 centimeter. From the pterion, the posterior ramus is 7 centimeter backwards and upwards. So now we got the exact location where it is present. It is present at the medial part of the sphenoid, greater wing of sphenoid bone, and 7 centimeter upwards and backwards from the pterion. 7 centimeter upwards and backwards from the pterion. This is our lateral sulcus. Now what does, let me hide the sphenoid bone. What does the lateral sulcus, how it is also an example of interlobar sulcus. It means that it is the lateral sulcus. So it is dividing. This is our temporal lobe. Below the lateral sulcus we find our temporal lobe. Above it we have a central sulcus which is dividing the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe. So we got our three lobe, frontal lobe, parietal lobe and the temporal lobe, and the two sulcus, central sulcus and the lateral sulcus. Alright, now the last sulcus, the parieto-occipital sulcus. For parieto-occipital sulcus we generally have to look for the pre-occipital notch. If we find the exact location of pre-occipital notch, then we can define the parieto-occipital sulcus. So in order to get the pre-occipital notch, in order to get the pre-occipital notch, this is our occipital pole. As I told you about the poles, this is our occipital pole. The pre-occipital notch is 5 centimeter above to and in front, 5 centimeter in front to what? 5 centimeter in front to occipital lobe. So this is our pre-occipital notch. If we looking for the parieto-occipital sulcus, then parieto-occipital sulcus is we can visualize, मतलब और अच्छे से दिखता है वो मीडियल साइड में. अगर हम लोग इसको मीडियल साइड में देखें, ये हम लोग का मीडियल साइड है, तो ये प्री-ऑसिपिटल नॉच है और ये क्या है, पैराइटो-ऑसिपिटल सल्कस है. We can find it more clearly on the medial surface, but on the lateral surface it is hazy है, not hazy, perfect नहीं होता. तो हम लोग देखें अगर, तो ये क्या है अपना, ये this is parieto-occipital sulcus. So not parieto-occipital sulcus, this is a pre-occipital notch. So how do we get the parieto-occipital sulcus? It is generally get by drawing the imaginary line from the lateral sulcus. I am drawing the horizontally an imaginary line from lateral sulcus and a horizontal line and a vertical line from the pre-occipital notch downward. Vertically from pre-occipital notch I am drawing a vertical line, imaginary line, and a horizontal line from lateral sulcus, an imaginary line. It will give us our occipital lobe. This is our occipital lobe. So what are the three sulcus we get? We got three sulcus here. We have a lateral sulcus, we have a central sulcus, and we have a pre-occipital notch. From the pre-occipital notch I drawn a imaginary line. This imaginary line from lateral sulcus I drawn an imaginary line, and I got the occipital lobe. So the occipital lobe, the parietal lobe, the frontal lobe, and the temporal lobe. So this is how we get the exact position of the sulcus on cerebrum. So here we are done with our first part of cerebrum. Like this video, and if you can share it. Comment below whether you like this video, and whatever your views, either positive or negative, I will appreciate, and try to improve myself in the further videos. And thank you, and stay connected with the Shore of Anatomy.